Well, hey there, it's Betsy Jordyn. I am here to share with you some information around the psychology of the sale. And the information I'm providing you will absolutely transform your business because it's going to give you insight to why certain things that you are doing to build your business and to market yourself are absolutely working, and why some things that you're doing are just falling flat. So before we get started, I want to get on the same page around a couple things. So if you are thinking about starting your business or growing your business, are you experiencing any fears or anxiety? Or are you wondering, how am I going to replace my income with consulting revenue if you're just starting out? Or if you're transforming your business, how do I replace my current income with this new business model versus what I've always known? And if you are feeling those feelings, you are not alone. And the facts are, ultimately, a lot of these fears has to do with marketing or sales. So the thing is that we know a lot of things when we are starting out our consulting business. Otherwise, we wouldn't consider doing so. We have a deep expertise in our field in our industry, but a lot of times we need to add marketing or sales to it. And when we're trying new things, we have to add marketing or sales all over again. And what this does is it creates these four very, very real marketing fears. The first one is no one will buy. So in our idealized imaginations, we always wish that it could be like the field of dreams, as if I build it, they will come. And so we have that fear is if I put it out there, nobody's going to buy it. So it makes us hold off on even marketing some of the things that we know will add value just because of that fear. Or we may feel like a fraud. You know, as I mentioned before, you leave your business to start leave your job to start your business, and you have expertise here, but you don't know necessarily what it means to be a business owner. So we feel like a fraud. And how do I deliver what I used to do in a whole new way? So that's that concern, is if I land the work, will I even be able to deliver on it? Or we just have this perception is I just suck at marketing, or I'm even worse at sales. Or this big one, this was a huge one for me when I was starting my business, because I left Disney to become, as an organization development consultant, to become a business owner. And I just had this belief around I'm all about service, and just something that about marketing just felt like I'm not in alignment with my values. And when this happens, we create these three easily avoidable but significant marketing mistakes. The first mistake that many of us make is we sell our mission. So there's a lot of us who are very aspirational, and we sell this transformation that we believe that we can help our clients create. So we want to ignite potential and actualize results, and we want to create healthy organizations, and we sell this mission. And when we put it out there, it falls completely flat for our clients because we haven't taken them on the journey and it doesn't connect with them. So we sell our mission. A lot of people that I mentor struggle with this one, where we sell our methodology. So methodology might be, we're a coach, or we do team building, or we provide specialized certifications in like DISC or Myers-Briggs or that kind of thing. And we get very focused on the methodology. And most of the time, 9 times out of 10, I would say even 9.999 times out of 10, that absolutely falls flat because we're making our clients speak our language and not necessarily speaking theirs. Or we sell ourselves. So we talk about, I have this degree, or I have this experience, and that also does not connect with our clients. So let me tell you what the solution is to these easily avoidable challenges, and the single shift that will absolutely transform your results, which is to approach your brand building and marketing, not with what you know, not with what you do, and not even with you. You want to begin with an in-depth understanding of who you serve. And when you get really, really clear from who you want in your pipeline and what their needs are and their pain points and how you work with them, it transforms everything. It transforms your perception on marketing as some sort of icky, sticky thing you need to get through in order to get to the work. It transforms your ability to create language, and it transforms everything. So what I want to do today is really just focus on the psychology of the sale and why this is so important. So we know tactically that it probably makes sense. You're probably nodding your head like, well, duh, of course I want to focus on my ideal client, but I'm going to explain to you the whys. And this will explain why certain things are working in your business and why some other things might be falling flat. So what we're going to discover in this very quick video is how to find and connect with your absolute real buyer. And I'm going to share with you how you use that information to create your triune value proposition, your triune website, and your triune marketing strategy. And this word triune is going to make perfect sense to you by the time we're done with this video. So let's talk about the big picture. Your ideal buyer is not an organization or even a position. It is a person. So for a lot of us who are consultants, we imagine I help small businesses or I help large organizations or Fortune 100 companies. You don't. You help a specific person within those organizations. And it's not just a position, it's an individual. And when it comes to a service business, you are the product. It's not your information. They don't buy your knowledge and your skills or your methodology. They buy your partnership. And this partnership doesn't begin when fees are paid. It starts the minute your ideal client becomes aware of who you are. And if you want to create sustainable profits in your business, you need to be able to find and connect with the real buyer. So let's clarify what I'm saying here. Your real buyer is not an organization or some sort of nebulous entity. It's a person. And what I want to do is go in depth around how that person makes decisions about whether or not they're going to partner with you. So this is how the brain buys. So back in the 1960s, Paul MacLean identified that we actually have 3 systems in the human brain. This is the foundation of the field called neuromarketing. And at the end of the day, we have 3 parts of us. The first is the survival state. This is the oldest part of our brain that we share in common with all living creatures. And this is the part of us that just focuses on, I want to survive, and they want to know if they're safe. So when we experience those fight or flight triggers, it's when the survival part of our brain just takes over. That anxiety that we feel and a lot of our stress is all in the survival state. The next part of our brain is the emotional brain. This is the limbic system. And this is the part of us that we share in common with all mammals. And this is part of us where we have the aspirational values and am I loved and how we feel around that type of feeling. And then we have the highest level that humans have, and some of the primates, but predominantly humans, it's the executive state. And this is when we're in that learning state. And what can I learn from this? This is the rational part of our brain. Most people think that the rational executive brain is responsible for buying decisions, and they create all kinds of marketing messages to go after that. And this is a huge myth. That is not true. So the reality is the rational brain does play a role, but it is not the beginning point and it is not the end point. It's somewhere in the middle, and that is not the decision maker. The first connection point you make, so when your ideal client is coming in contact with you, their survival brain is the first one that gets activated. And it first evaluates whether or not you are safe, whether or not you're somebody who gets their pain points and somebody who can actually meet and deliver on your promises. Once the safety is established, the executive brain gets engaged, and it determines the quality of the solution, what can be learned, the ROI, but that does not create the sale. The limbic brain is your ultimate decision maker. The limbic brain seeks a desired feeling from the transformation of these pain points. And this is the one that you have to address in order to close the deal. So this is where a lot of times people would say, we buy because of how we feel. This is what it means by that. So, if you're at a car dealership and you want to ask, about the benefits of the car, and they say, but how does the car make you feel? They're trying to go with that. Now you do have to engage the rational brain, but this is what it's talking about. So now let's apply this to you in your brand building. I have a value proposition framework that is for a triune brain. And I have 3 parts of it. And I set it up to go against the question that we always get asked. You know the question I'm talking about, because you could be at a family reunion, you could be at a Christmas party, or you could be at a networking event. At some point, you're always going to be asked, so, what do you do? And how you answer it describes your brain, but if you answer it, you could also be doing it in a way that addresses how the brain actually buys and how you hit the triune brain. So you begin with, so you know when. So you know when certain individuals have these particular pain points, and when you're articulate about that, you actually relax the survival brain because you're validating their survival fears. So when companies are going from this size to this size, the wheels start falling off, fingers start pointing, people start getting frustrated, and executives are spending more time in conflict than they are on the business. That's when I'm articulating the pain points. Well, what I do, that's where you start engaging the executive brain. And this is where you provide a succinct professional label and a clear description of what you do to help your clients alleviate their pain points. And it gives the executive brain a logical reason to keep listening to you. So what I do is I'm an organization development expert or organizational transformation expert. And what I do is I help my clients get their arms around all the issues and challenges so they understand the difference between the root causes and the symptoms so that they can create a clear path to growth. And then you go to the which leads to. And this is where you give tangible business outcomes, and then you get that sign off on the rational brain. But then you talk about the transformation that you invite your clients into and how their pain points and all the emotions that go along with it, that will be something pleasurable, desirable. This is where you hook them. You know, when I think about the work that I do with helping others start their consulting practices, they have certain goals that they want to create. They have certain revenue targets, and they have a certain standing that they want to create as a thought leader. But underneath it, it's usually something much more substantial. And I start talking about creating success on their own terms because it's those other things. I want to be able to travel more. I want more time to be able to create my art and other types of things. Or I want to be a parent and I want to spend more time with my loved ones. You know, that's the more important stuff. And that's where the pain points become really relevant. So now let's apply this to your website. So your website is a great opportunity for you to transform your results simply by making a handful of tweaks that will connect with all parts of your clients' brains. So the first is make sure you use your name and your business name when you can. So when you name your business and you put your picture of you right on the home page, you are creating limbic resonance. You are making a connection on a very emotional level with your ideal clients. When you're able to articulate your value proposition and your pain points that your clients are experiencing, you're creating that instant connection and trust, and they're going to stay and be more interested in what you have to say. Your site map is really important because you want it to have it logical, clear navigation, obvious calls to action. And when it's all organized, you reduce that fear of the unknown and that anxiety of the reptile brain. Without it, they're going to pop off your website and look for somebody else. And you know what I'm talking about, because when you go on a website and you have no idea where you're supposed to go, it's not well organized, you don't know what you're supposed to do next, you yourself know you're going to pop off. And this goes to the next part, is your wow design. If you don't have a really good design, it's not just about aesthetics. It creates anxiety that you're not the real deal. Because when you do have a high level of quality in your design, you are saying with images that you are somebody who's successful in delivering your promise to others. It enhances that credibility, because you wouldn't have this level of design if you didn't really believe in your promises. When you use a lot of images and metaphors and stories, you are engaging the limbic brain of your ideal client. And having your picture all over the place contributes, just like in the same way we have a relationship with actors. I can't tell you how many times I've landed business with clients in other countries that I have never met before, simply because of my videos. Because my videos gave them a chance to get to know me before they ever got to get to know me. And then your content. So your content is really great from a way of engaging that rational brain, because you're teaching them something. They're getting value. It reduces anxiety. Again, the reptile brain is calmed down because they're getting value. So if you're getting this kind of stuff for free, imagine what the paid stuff would be like. But also you're engaging your clients in a lot of other ways, because they're getting to know you, getting to know the way you talk. And the more that you structure your content with the pain point, the solution, and the outcome, you are able to help them start to see themselves in the solution that you're offering. And then just from a pure pragmatic standpoint, I just want to give you a little tip, is right after Google, YouTube is the second largest search engine. So if you set up your content and your videos to be something that relates to their search terms, they're going to find you and they're going to have even more of a connection with you. So that's your website. Now let's talk about your marketing techniques at the networking event. So I shared with you my 3-part formula for your value proposition, but what I would recommend that you do is customize it based on the audience of who you're talking to. So let's say you are a consultant who has an expertise to help organizations navigate the transition from small to medium-sized companies, and you're at an HR event and you're meeting people there. Now, that person that you're talking to may or may not be a buyer, but they are referred to a buyer, but you want to talk to them as if they were. So when you set up like, so you know when, and you respond to that question, set it up where you're talking about the pain points of the HR person within the context of moving from a small to medium-sized company and what they might be experiencing. But on the other hand, if you're at a networking event that you have your CEOs in the room, then talk to them. Be conversational and be customized. And make sure that when they start nodding their head and they seem to be tracking with you, then flip the conversation and say, do you experience something like this? And talk to them about their pain points and provide immediate value to them right there. Make ample use of what I call framing and empathy, which is my secret weapon to all of my consulting success. And that's when I help my clients. I listen to them share a lot of different issues and challenges they have, and I sort and organize them into logical categories, and I validate why these might be challenges for them, so that makes them feel heard, it makes them feel relief, and it helps them feel like there's some order. Again, it relaxes the survival brain, it creates a limbic connection, and it allows me to have permission to continue probing. Another tip I will give you is make sure that you do not leave any conversation without specifics around, hey, this was great, I'd love to add more value to your business. Make it about them, not you. Now, when you're giving speeches, make sure that you set up the structure in the same way that we've been talking about the content. Set up the pain point, aggravate the pain point if you need to with stories. Provide the solution, the transformation. With the stories, use visuals. And when you share your credentials, you don't necessarily need to justify that you're an expert in your field. Do it in the context of how you help others. I don't brag about the fact that I have a Disney background. I talk about my Disney background, what I've learned through the experience and how that transfers to others. But it's not about the fact that I have experience in a Fortune 100 company. It's about that I've been able to create principles within that context that helps others. And just a little tip, make sure that your speech provides a call to action so that you can continue the relationship. So make sure that you offer something of value to them in exchange for your name that you could follow up. Asking for referrals. Here's some do's and don'ts that and how you want to respond. This first don't is an actual request I got the other day around somebody asking me to connect them with somebody else. So they say, would you appreciate any referrals that you think could use our services? We've recently expanded. Now we have the ability to do more. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do with that kind of request. I don't know who the clients are, pain points, what their expertise is. It does not help me at all. But instead, what they could do to improve it is to say, I am passionate about helping stressed and overwhelmed small business owners fill their pipelines with more qualified leads. Can you provide me a virtual introduction to those that you know who have this need that I can add value to? So it's not about that you getting introduced so you can do sales on somebody that you know, which that would make me want to be protective of my network, versus, hey, I know these other people, these pain points, I'd love to help because I want to be a helper in connecting the dots. So where you might get stuck on this stuff, this is what gets really hard for all of us, is we have the forest from the trees syndrome, which means that we have a hard time seeing who our ideal clients are because we're stuck on seeing our methodology or our mission. This can be really, really challenging. So that's where I would invite you to get somebody outside of you to help you see all of this more clearly. And once you see it, you will not be able to unsee it. Once you see clearly the person that you are meant to serve, the rest of your business is going to come all into line. How you could expand your products and services and how you can continue to create more value will become crystal clear, because you will become one with the ideal client that you have. And when you get in front of them, when you are talking to them, even in the sales process, you're not going to be trying to close the deal because you need the money. You will be closing the deal because you absolutely feel compelled to help them. It ignites your passion. You are able to leverage your gifts. This is the secret sauce. So how do you get started? I have a free cheat sheet here for you, and it's a fill-in-the-blank template on how to connect with credibility to your ideal and high-paying clients. So I take my value proposition template that I've been talking to you about throughout this video, and I break it down for you, and I give you examples, and I help you fill in the blanks to make sure that you're able to build your business on this powerful foundation. So this is my secret to you having the business of your dreams. If you want to create sustainable profitability, build your business based on who you authentically are motivated to help and have the people who have needs that you are inspired to action and compassion. That's where you're going to get your energy, and you will just maximize your energy when you're clear and articulate about your expertise, your best at skills that give you energy and joy. That's the other part of this formula. And when you see the transformation that you're going to be able to create, you will learn to love sales and marketing in a way that you never imagined before, because it's simply getting the value that you can create in front of those people that you are destined to serve. It's simply before money has exchanged hands. I cannot wait to see how you're going to take this information and transform your results and transform your energy around doing this business. I cannot wait. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you soon.